Galactic Council declares humans inferior. Regrets it immediately. The massive crystalline dome of the Galactic Council's judgment chamber glittered with the light of 1,000 suns. Prismatic shadows danced across Ambassador Jack Monroe's face as he stood alone on the circular platform. Surrounding him were tiered seats holding over 300 alien representatives from across the Milky Way. The silence was deafening, broken only by occasional clicks, hisses, and electronic translations. Jack fought to keep his breathing steady. 6 months of space travel, 2 years of preparation, and humanity's entire future now rested on the next few minutes. Behind him, a holographic display showed Earth, beautiful and blue against the blackness of space. The council leader, a towering six-limbed being known as Arbiter Vex, looked down upon the human with obvious contempt from his elevated position. His iridescent exoskeleton caught the light as he moved, creating flashes that hurt Jack's eyes. Species 7294C, designation human from Sol 3. Vex's voice boomed across the chamber, automatically translated into thousands of languages through the neural interfaces all attendees wore. Your kind has been observed for 13 galactic cycles. Today we render judgment on your petition to join the Galactic Concord. A murmur rippled through the assembly. Jack tightened his grip on the simple diplomatic case at his side. It contained everything they had prepared, their ace in the hole. Silence, commanded Vex, and the chamber immediately fell quiet. The Council has reviewed the extensive data on your species development, biology, and societal structures. Jack noticed several Council members leaning forward in anticipation. The Crexon delegation, insectoid beings known for their military might, clicked their mandibles in what humans had learned was amusement. The water-dwelling Trell representatives bubbled in their hydro tanks, their translucent bodies pulsing with light. Vex unfurled a glowing document that hovered in the air before him. The Council has determined, he continued, that humans are classified as a Class 3 inferior species, unsuitable for full membership. The chamber erupted in chittering sounds, laughter from 100 alien cultures. Jack's face remained impassive, but his heart sank. Your biological fragility, short lifespan, and primitive understanding of cosmic principles render you unworthy of equal standing. Vex continued, satisfaction evident in his tone. You will be granted limited trading rights with designated Concord outposts, but Earth's resources remain open for approved exploitation under Section 47 of the Galactic Charter. Jack's earpiece crackled with the voice of Mission Control back on Earth. Don't react. This was expected. Proceed with Protocol Omega. Jack stepped forward, his face betraying nothing. Arbiter Vex, the people of Earth thank you for your thorough assessment. His finger slid to a concealed button on his case. Before this judgment is recorded, humanity requests the right of demonstration. A single opportunity to display our potential. Vex's compound eyes narrowed. Granted, but be warned, no species has ever successfully challenged a council classification. We don't intend to challenge it, Jack said, opening the case. We intend to shatter it completely. The case opened to reveal a small device that projected a holographic display into the center of the chamber. The projection showed a series of complex equations and diagrams that caused several scientific advisors in the chamber to lean forward with sudden interest. What you're seeing, Jack explained, is something we call the Prometheus Protocol. While you've been observing Earth, we've been observing you. The hologram shifted to show recordings of various alien ships that had visited Earth's solar system over the decades, ships that had believed themselves undetected. Your stealth technology is impressive, Jack continued, but humans have a unique talent for noticing patterns others miss. We've been collecting data on your propulsion systems, communication methods, and energy signatures for over 50 years. Vex's mandibles clicked in agitation. This is irrelevant. Observation does not equate to understanding. Perhaps this will change your mind. Jack pressed another button, and the hologram transformed again. This time, it showed a simulation of a modified energy matrix, one that caused several council scientists to rise to their feet in shock. Impossible, hissed a reptilian council member. They've solved the Caverian paradox. Not only solved it, Jack said with the hint of a smile, we've improved upon it. Your current fastest ships can travel between star systems in weeks. With our modifications, the same journey would take days. The chamber erupted in noise as representatives turned to each other in disbelief. Vex slammed a limb down, creating a thunderous boom that restored order. Theoretical knowledge does not prove capability, Vex challenged. Your planet barely maintains a unified government. You have no meaningful presence beyond your own moon. Jack's smile widened slightly. That's where you're wrong, Arbiter. He gestured to the Earth hologram, which zoomed out to show the solar system. Suddenly, dozens of signatures appeared throughout, in orbit around Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and beyond the Kuiper Belt. While your observers were focused on Earth itself, we've been busy establishing outposts throughout our system. We didn't announce them because, frankly, we wanted to see how much you were really paying attention. A new murmur of surprise rippled through the council. This is a deception, Vex declared, but uncertainty had crept into his voice. Admiral Decker, Jack spoke into his communicator. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. The hologram shifted to real-time feed showing a fleet of ships emerging from hidden bases on Mars and several moons of Jupiter. The design was clearly human but incorporated elements that made several council members shift uncomfortably in recognition. These ships aren't armed, Jack clarified. We come seeking peace and cooperation. But they do utilize several technologies that your reports classified as centuries beyond human capability. The Trell representative, a being named Lyria whose luminescent body pulsed with blue light, spoke up. How is this possible? Our assessments were based on what we allowed you to see, Jack finished for her. Humanity has a long history of being underestimated. We've learned to use that to our advantage. Jack walked slowly around the circular platform, making eye contact with various council members. We didn't come here to beg for admission. We came to offer partnership. Humanity doesn't just adapt to challenges, we thrive on them. We solve problems differently because we've had to survive differently. He gestured to the hologram again, which now displayed a series of innovations, medical techniques, environmental restoration methods, and alternative energy systems. In the past century alone, we've overcome diseases that should have wiped us out, begun healing environmental damage that could have rendered our planet uninhabitable, and developed energy solutions that even some of your more advanced members might find interesting. The Crexan delegation chittered angrily, but several other council races were showing clear signs of interest. Vex's hostility had transformed into something more calculating. What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador? Asked Lyria, her voice carrying a new note of respect. Reclassification for starters, Jack replied. A full review of our capabilities by an unbiased committee. And then genuine partnership. There are challenges facing this galaxy that require new perspectives. Perspectives that humanity is uniquely positioned to provide. Vex leaned forward. And if we decline? Jack closed his case with a soft click. Then we'll continue developing on our own. But consider this. Would you rather have humanity as an ally or as a potential competitor? The implied threat wasn't lost on anyone in the chamber. Jack had carefully avoided any direct challenge while making it clear that Earth would not accept exploitation. This council does not respond to veiled threats, Vex said coldly. No threat, Arbiter, just a statement of fact. Humanity will continue to grow and expand regardless of your classification. We'd simply prefer to do so as part of the greater galactic community. An older council member, a gaseous entity contained in an ornate floating vessel, drifted forward. I have observed 17 species join the conquered in my lifetime. None have presented themselves as this one has. Its voice was like wind through crystals. I move for immediate reconsideration of classification. Seconded, came a chorus of voices. Vex's compound eyes fixed on Jack with a new intensity. This is unprecedented. That seems to be humanity's specialty, Jack replied with the diplomatic smile he had practiced for months. We look forward to showing you just how unprecedented we can be. As the council broke into heated debate, Jack's earpiece crackled again. Phase 1 complete, came the voice from Mission Control. But watch your back, Ambassador. Making history also makes enemies. Jack's smile didn't waver as he watched alliances already shifting among the council races. The game had only just begun, and humanity had played its first card perfectly. What no one in the chamber realized was that the real demonstration of human capability hadn't even started yet. Galactic Council declares humans inferior, regrets it immediately. The council chambers buzzed with activity as representatives from hundreds of worlds argued amongst themselves. It had been 3 days since Ambassador Jack Monroe's shocking presentation, and the Galactic Council remained in an unprecedented continuous session. The massive holographic displays around the chamber showed various human achievements that were being analyzed and debated by Council scientists. In a small preparation room adjacent to the main chamber, Jack studied the data feeds with intense concentration. The tension in his shoulders betrayed the pressure he felt representing all of humanity in this crucial moment. "They're scared," said Maya Rivera, Earth's intelligence officer and Jack's second-in-command. She moved beside him, her dark eyes scanning the same feeds. "That's why they're taking so long." Jack nodded. "Fear can make them dangerous. The Crexan delegation has already called for restrictive measures against us." The door slid open with a soft hiss, revealing Gal, a lanky, blue-skinned alien whose species, the Naviri, served as technical specialists to the Council. His large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of agitation. "Ambassador, I have troubling information," Gal whispered, glancing nervously over his shoulder. "Someone has accessed your presentation systems. There are signs of tampering." Maya stepped forward, immediately alert. "Show me." Gal handed her a datapad with scrolling code. "Here. These access signatures are not human, nor are they from authorized Council technicians." Maya's eyes narrowed as she studied the information. "This is sophisticated. They're trying to corrupt our demonstration data for the final presentation." Jack's face darkened. "The vote on our reclassification is tomorrow. If our evidence is compromised, I'll handle it," Maya interrupted, already moving toward the door. "Gal, I need access to the central data hub." Gal hesitated. "That's highly restricted. If we're caught, my people won't be relegated to second-class status in the galaxy because of sabotage," Maya said firmly. "Are you with us or not?" The alien's skin rippled with changing colors, a physiological response indicating internal conflict. Then he nodded. "My species was once dismissed by the Council, too. Follow me." As they left, Jack turned back to the data feeds. A notification flashed indicating an incoming transmission from Earth. Admiral Decker's stern face appeared on the screen. "Ambassador, we have a situation," the Admiral said without preamble. "The Crexan fleet is moving. They've repositioned 20 warships near the Jupiter outpost." Jack felt his blood run cold. "That's a direct provocation. They're claiming it's a scheduled exercise, but our intelligence suggests otherwise." Decker's expression was grim. "It seems they're not waiting for the Council's decision. How many ships can we deploy without appearing aggressive?" 5, maybe 6. Enough to show presence, not enough to match their firepower." Jack considered their options. "Do it, but keep them on defensive protocols only. We can't afford to give the Crexan an excuse." As the transmission ended, a soft chime indicated it was time to return to the Council chamber. Jack straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. Everything was balancing on a knife's edge. The chamber quieted as Jack took his position on the central platform. Arbiter Vex loomed above, his exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights. "Ambassador Monroe," Vex began, his voice carrying that same note of contempt, though perhaps slightly diminished. "The Council has reviewed your initial presentation. Councilmember Trell will now present our findings." The water-dwelling Trell representative's tank moved forward. Unlike many Council members, Lyria had shown signs of being receptive to humanity's case. Her translucent body pulsed with gentle light as she spoke. "The human demonstration of the modified Cavarian equations is impressive," her melodic voice admitted. "However, theoretical knowledge does not prove practical application capability." Jack nodded respectfully. "Which is why we prepared a more tangible demonstration." He activated his datapad, and the central hologram shifted to show a small probe entering the atmosphere of a gas giant in a nearby system. "This probe was launched 6 months ago, using the very drive system we described in our presentation," Jack explained. "It's currently transmitting data from Kepler 452b, a planet your own explorers have found. Difficult to study due to its unusual electromagnetic fields." The hologram displayed a stream of data that caused several scientific advisors to lean forward with intense interest. "Impossible," muttered one council scientist loudly enough to be heard. "Those fields disrupt our best sensing equipment." "We designed our systems differently," Jack explained. "Humans have always had to compensate for our physical limitations by thinking creatively." Lyria's body pulsed with brighter colors, a sign of excitement or surprise. This data would be invaluable to our understanding of planetary formation, and it's just one example of what partnership with humanity could offer, Jack said smoothly. From the Crexon section came an angry buzz. Their lead representative, a massive insectoid named Varm, rose to his full height. This changes nothing. Their demonstration may be impressive for such a primitive species, but they remain vulnerable, fragile, and limited in lifespan. They have no place as equals in this council. Jack remained outwardly calm, but internally he worried about Maya's mission. The technical sabotage Gal had discovered might be connected to the Crexon's aggressive moves. If I may respond, Jack said carefully, humanity's apparent limitations are precisely what give us our unique perspective. We've had to overcome challenges that many long-lived species never face. He touched his datapad again, and the hologram shifted to display Earth's history, specifically, how humans had repeatedly come back from the brink of destruction. Because our individual lives are relatively short, we value efficiency and innovation. Because our bodies are relatively fragile, we've developed medicine and technology to compensate. These aren't weaknesses, they're the forge that has shaped our civilization. Vex leaned forward. Pretty words, Ambassador. But the reality remains. Your species has existed for a mere flicker of time compared to the established members of this council. What could you possibly offer that we don't already have? Jack was about to respond when his earpiece crackled urgently. Maya's voice came through, tense and rushed. Jack, we've discovered something. The sabotage goes deeper than we thought. There's a whole section of council archives that's been hidden from us. Information about Earth that dates back thousands of years before our recorded history. Jack's expression didn't change, but his mind raced. He needed time. Arbiter Vex, before I answer your question, I request a short recess to prepare our final presentation materials. Vex seemed about to refuse, but Lyria intervened. I second this request. Protocol allows for adequate preparation time. Very well, Vex conceded reluctantly. This council will reconvene in 3 hours. As the chamber began to empty, Jack's communicator vibrated with an emergency signal from Earth. Admiral Decker's face appeared, his expression grave. Ambassador, you need to see this immediately. A ship of unknown origin has crashed in the Australian outback. It's not one of ours, and it's not any design we recognize from the council races. Jack's blood ran cold. Survivors? Juan and Jack? They're asking for you by name. They say they have information about humanity's true place in the galaxy. Information the council has been hiding for millennia. Jack glanced around, ensuring no one could overhear. Keep this contained. I need to find Maya. We may have just found the missing piece. As Jack hurried through the corridors of the massive council station, he noticed several Crexon representatives huddled together, speaking in urgent, hushed tones. They fell silent as he passed, their compound eyes tracking his movement. Something major was happening beneath the surface of these negotiations, something that went far beyond a simple classification review. Jack had the growing sense that humanity had stumbled into a galactic power struggle that had been unfolding for centuries. He found Maya and Gal in a secluded data hub, surrounded by holographic displays showing ancient star charts and texts in languages Jack didn't recognize. You need to see this, Maya said without preamble. Her usual composure was shaken. We found these files hidden behind multiple security protocols that haven't been updated in over 10,000 years. The display showed images of Earth, ancient Earth, being visited by starships, and more disturbing, genetic sequences that looked unmistakably human but with subtle, deliberate modifications, Jack, Maya said quietly. According to these records, humans weren't just discovered by the Galactic Council, we were created by them, or rather by a race that came before them. The architects, Gal whispered, his skin paling to a lighter blue. The species that founded the original council before disappearing from the galaxy. According to our oldest legends, they seeded worlds with species they designed for specific purposes. Jack stared at the data in stunned silence. And the current council has kept this hidden? Why? I think, Maya said slowly, they're afraid of what we were designed to become. Jack's communicator chimed again. Admiral Decker with an update on the crashed ship. Jack looked between the display of ancient data and his communicator, suddenly understanding that everything was connected. We need to adjust our strategy, he said firmly. The Council isn't just evaluate. A Galactic Council declares humans inferior. Regrets it immediately. The Australian outback stretched out in all directions, red earth baking under the harsh sun. A security perimeter had been established around the crashed alien vessel, which lay half-buried in a smoking crater. The ship's design was unlike anything in the Council's known registry, sleek and almost organic in appearance, with a surface that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. Admiral Decker stood with a small team of Earth's top scientists and military personnel, all maintaining a respectful distance from the craft. His weathered face was locked in concentration as he studied the real-time holographic feed being transmitted to Ambassador Jack Monroe on the Council station. The survivor? Jack asked through the secure channel. Decker gestured and the camera panned to a medical tent nearby. Stable, but refusing to speak to anyone except you. Claims to be a guardian of the archive, whatever that means, using translator technology similar to but more advanced than what the Council uses. Inside the tent, visible through the feed, lay a humanoid figure. Its skin was pale silver, almost translucent with intricate patterns that seemed to glow from within. Though clearly alien, there was something disturbingly familiar about its features. What about the ship's data? Jack asked. Encrypted, but our tech team says it's responding to human DNA in ways that make no sense. It's like it was designed specifically for us to access. Jack absorbed this information, connecting it with what Maya and Gal had discovered in the hidden archives. Keep everything secure. Let the survivor know I'm receiving their message and will respond as soon as possible. The transmission ended, and Jack turned to face Maya and Gal in the small preparation room adjacent to the Council chamber. They had less than 30 minutes before the session reconvened. The crashed ship and this hidden archive data are connected, Jack said. The question is, how do we use this information without causing a panic? Maya displayed the translated fragments from the ancient files. According to these records, humans were genetically engineered by the architects approximately 300,000 years ago. But unlike other species they created, humans were designed with unusual genetic markers that would only activate under specific evolutionary pressures. Like a dormant program? Gal added, his blue skin rippling with excitement. The architects were known for their ability to engineer life forms with specific purposes. Jack frowned. What was our purpose? Maya hesitated. That's not clear. These files are heavily corrupted, as if someone tried to erase them. But there are references to something called the inheritance and humanity being vessels of continuation. A chime sounded, indicating it was time to return to the Council chamber. Jack straightened his uniform, mind racing with possibilities and risks. Here's what we're going to do, he said firmly. We present the evidence of technological capability as planned, but we hold back on the architect connection for now. I want to see how the Council reacts, watch for who seems most nervous about our demonstrations. Maya nodded. And the crashed ship. Not a word until we understand more. But be ready to use it if necessary. The Council chamber was filled with tension when they returned. The representatives had clearly been engaged in heated debates during the recess. Jack could feel hundreds of alien eyes tracking his every move as he took his position on the central platform. Arbiter Vex loomed above, his exoskeleton seeming duller than before, as if the stress was affecting even his biology. Ambassador Monroe, you may present your final evidence for reclassification. Jack nodded respectfully. Thank you, Arbiter. In the interest of transparency, I would like to begin with a question. He paused, scanning the chamber. Why was Earth placed under observation 13 galactic cycles ago specifically? The question created an immediate stir. Vex's compound eyes narrowed. The reasons are documented in the standard protocols for emerging species. And yet, Jack continued smoothly, our investigations show that Earth has been visited by Council races for far longer than that. Visits that were carefully hidden from our historical record. He activated his datapad, and the central hologram displayed evidence compiled from Earth's archaeological records, unexplained artifacts, ancient structures with impossible precision, and depictions of visitors from the stars found in cultures across the planet. These visitors weren't just observing, they were guiding, testing, perhaps even waiting. The chamber had gone completely silent. Jack noticed several of the elder council members exchanging alarmed glances. What exactly are you implying, Ambassador? Vex demanded, a dangerous edge to his voice. I'm not implying anything, Arbiter. I'm asking why the full history of Council interaction with Earth has been withheld from both humanity and, I suspect, from many current Council members. Before Vex could respond, Lyria's tank moved forward. Her luminescent body pulsed with agitation. Ambassador, these are dangerous waters. Some histories are kept restricted for the stability of the conquered. With respect, Council member, Jack replied. If those histories directly concern my species, we have a right to know. From the Crexon section came an angry buzz. Their representative Varm rose. This is outrageous. The human questions ancient Council protocol, while their warships move into defensive positions in their home system. Jack remained outwardly calm. A reasonable precaution given that the Crexon fleet has taken up positions near our Jupiter outpost without explanation. The chamber erupted into chaos as representatives shouted over each other. Vex slammed a limb down, creating a thunderous boom that restored order. Ambassador Monroe, Vex said, his voice dangerously controlled. You were granted this hearing to present evidence of your technological capabilities, not to question Council historical protocol. The two are connected, Jack insisted. Humanity's rapid technological development isn't just a product of our ingenuity. It's connected to our very origins. Origins that I believe some in this chamber are well aware of. He turned slowly, making eye contact with the oldest Council. Members, those representing species that would have been present during the time of the architects. I formally request access to the complete historical records regarding Earth and humanity's origins. The gaseous entity that had supported them earlier drifted forward. In its ornate vessel, its voice was like wind through crystals but carried unmistakable concern. Such records, if they exist, would fall under the ancient knowledge protocols. Access requires approval from 3/4 of the Senior Council. Then I request a vote, Jack said firmly. Vex's exoskeleton clicked in agitation. This is unprecedented. You are not even a recognized member of the Concord. And yet, came a new voice. The request has merit. All eyes turned to a previously silent section of the chamber, where a delegation of crystalline beings sat. Their leader, a multifaceted entity named Thaz, rarely spoke in Council matters. The Lithari recognize patterns across vast time frames. Thaz continued, its voice resonating throughout the chamber. The pattern surrounding Earth and its inhabitants has been irregular since the time of our ancestors. Perhaps transparency would serve the conquered better than continued secrecy. Jack nodded gratefully to the crystalline being, noting the growing division in the Council. He had succeeded in creating doubt and discord, exactly what he needed to break through centuries of established protocol. Vex conferred hurriedly with several advisors, then addressed the chamber. This session will recess while the Senior Council considers this irregular request. All representatives are advised to return to their quarters. As the chamber began to empty, Jack received an urgent message from Admiral Decker. The hologram on his private communicator showed the Admiral's face, tense with controlled excitement. The survivor spoke. Decker said without preamble, called themselves a Seed Guardian, and said they've been monitoring Earth for millennia from a hidden outpost beyond Pluto. Jack, they claim humans are the last successful project of the architects before they vanished from the galaxy. Jack's heart raced. Did they say what we were designed to do? Not exactly, but they mentioned something about humans having adaptive resonance that makes us compatible with architect technology in ways other species aren't. And Jack, they're terrified of the Crexon finding out. As the communication ended, Jack felt a presence behind him. He turned to find Lyria, the Trell representative, her tank hovering silently. Ambassador, she said quietly, you are in grave danger. The Crexon have submitted an emergency measure to the Senior Council calling for Earth's immediate quarantine. On what grounds? Suspected biological contamination. A convenient fiction to isolate your world while they position their fleet. Her body pulsed with urgent colors. But the true reason is fear. The Crexon have suspected the truth about humans for centuries, which is, Lyria's voice dropped even lower, that you are the inheritors of the architect's legacy. The Crexon were once servants to the architects, and they have spent millennia ensuring no other species could claim what they believe is rightfully theirs. Jack processed this revelation, suddenly understanding the Crexon's hostility. We need to contact Earth immediately. If they're planning something, the Galactic Council declares humans inferior, regrets it immediately. The diplomatic quarter of the council station hummed with activity as various representatives hurried to secure advantages in what was quickly becoming a galactic crisis. Jack followed Lyria through a labyrinth of corridors, careful to avoid the security drones that patrolled the main thoroughfares. "Here," Lyria said, her tank stopping before an unmarked door. "This communication node is reserved for senior council members, but my access codes should work." The door slid open to reveal a small chamber with advanced communication equipment. Jack moved quickly to the central console while Lyria positioned her tank to block the doorway. "You have perhaps 10 minutes before the system registers unauthorized access," she warned. Jack's fingers flew across the interface, establishing a secure connection with Earth. Admiral Decker's face appeared immediately, as if he had been waiting for the call. "Jack, we have a situation," Decker said without preamble. "The Crexon fleet has increased to 37 ships. They're maintaining position, but we're picking up energy signatures consistent with weapons charging. They're going to attack before the Council can make a decision." Jack said grimly, "What about our defenses?" Decker's expression hardened. "I've initiated contingency Thunderbolt." Jack's eyes widened. Thunderbolt was their absolute last resort, revealing capabilities that humanity had kept hidden even from their allies on the Council. "Are you sure that's wise?" The Guardian confirmed it was necessary. Decker's image shifted to show a tactical display of the solar system. Dozens of signatures were appearing from hidden bases on Mars, Europa and Titan, Earth's secret fleet, built using reverse-engineered technology from crashed alien vessels over the past century. "How long until they're in defensive position?" 2 hours. "But Jack, there's more." Decker hesitated. "The Guardian has interfaced with our systems. It's enhancing them somehow. Ships that shouldn't be able to manage more than basic maneuvers are now showing capabilities that match or exceed Crexon technology." Jack processed this information, seeing both opportunity and danger. "The council session resumes in 3 hours. I need to stall any decision until our fleet is in position." "Be careful," Decker warned. "The Guardian says there are factions within the council that have been suppressing human development for centuries. They won't give up that control easily." The communication ended, and Jack turned to Lyria, who had been listening with increasing agitation, her body pulsing with rapid color changes. "You've had a hidden fleet all along," she said, her voice a mixture of awe and concern. "A necessary precaution," Jack replied calmly. "Wouldn't you do the same if you discovered advanced civilizations were observing your world while concealing your true origins?" Lyria's color stabilized. "My people have always valued honesty above all. But I understand survival instincts." She moved closer. "Ambassador, I must tell you something before we return. The Crexon motion for quarantine is merely a pretext. Their true plan is far worse." "What do you mean?" "They believe humans are carrying dormant architect genetic markers, what they call the seed of ascension. They fear that if these activate, humanity would gain abilities that could threaten Crexon dominance. Their fleet isn't positioning for quarantine, it's preparing for sterilization." Jack felt cold horror wash over him. They would destroy an entire planet? The Council would never approve such an action. "They don't intend to ask permission," Lyria said grimly. "The Crexon have been building their own power base for centuries, making secret alliances. Many council members would look the other way if Earth were suddenly destroyed, especially if the Crexon claimed it was to prevent some greater threat." Jack's mind raced. Everything was happening too quickly, spinning out of control. "We need to get back to the chamber. I have to expose this before it's too late." As they hurried back through the corridors, Jack's communicator vibrated with an encrypted message from Maya. "Archives accessed. Found proof. Meet me before session." They found Maya waiting in a secluded alcove near the council chamber, her expression tense but triumphant. Gal stood beside her, his blue skin now pale with stress. "We got into the restricted archives," Maya said without preamble. Gal used his technical access combined with some creative programming. "What did you find?" Jack asked. Maya displayed a hologram from her datapad, ancient records showing detailed genetic sequencing of early humans, alongside what appeared to be projections of human evolutionary potential. "The architects didn't just create humans," Maya explained. "They designed us to evolve in specific ways in response to environmental pressures. Each challenge humanity faced, disease, climate change, warfare, triggered subtle genetic adaptations that were pre-programmed into our DNA. But why? Jack asked. What was their end goal? According to these records, Maya continued, the architects were facing extinction from a threat they called the Void, some kind of intelligent force that consumed entire star systems. They created multiple species as potential solutions, but humans were their final and most ambitious project. Gal spoke up, his voice trembling slightly. The records say humans have cognitive resonance unlike any other species, the ability to intuitively understand and operate architect technology without training. That's why the Crexon and others have been suppressing Earth's development. They fear you'll access the architect's most powerful weapons and defenses. Jack connected this with what Decker had reported about the Guardian enhancing their ships. The Guardian in Australia, it must be activating these dormant abilities. There's more, Maya said. The archives contained coordinates for something called the Nexus, apparently a central hub of architect technology hidden at the galactic core. The record suggests it contains technology that could reshape the foundations of reality itself. Jack checked the time, 30 minutes until the council reconvened. We need a new strategy. We can't just argue for reclassification anymore. We're fighting for our survival. What are you thinking? Maya asked. If the Crexon want to paint us as a threat, let's show them exactly what kind of threat we can be. Jack's expression hardened. And let's show the council why humanity was created in the first place. The council chamber was filled to capacity when they returned, the atmosphere charged with tension. Jack took his position on the central platform, aware of the hundreds of alien eyes fixed upon him. He noticed several new security drones hovering at the chamber's periphery, the Crexon taking no chances. Arbiter Vex called the session to order, his voice betraying strain. The senior council has reviewed Ambassador Monroe's request for historical records. Before announcing our decision, we will hear the emergency motion submitted by the Crexon delegation. Varm, the Crexon representative, moved to the speaking position, his insectoid features clicking with barely suppressed aggression. Honorable Council, new evidence has come to light suggesting that humans carry dormant biological markers that pose a grave threat to galactic security. We move for immediate quarantine of Earth and all human outposts until this threat can be properly assessed. Jack noticed several council members nodding in agreement. The Crexon had been busy during the recess securing support for their motion. Furthermore, Varm continued, we have detected unauthorized military mobilization in the human home system, a direct violation of observer status protocols. This aggressive action demands immediate response. Arbiter Vex turned to Jack. Ambassador Monroe, how do you respond to these serious allegations? Jack stepped forward, his face calm despite the turmoil within. With truth, Arbiter. He activated his datapad, and the central hologram displayed the ancient records Maya had discovered. These are files from your own archives, files that have been deliberately hidden from both humanity and most council members. They show that humans were specifically engineered by the architects as part of a project called the Inheritance. Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber. Jack continued, his voice growing stronger. We didn't come here simply seeking admission to your concord. We came seeking justice. He turned, making eye contact with representatives around the chamber. Humanity has been manipulated, our development suppressed, our true origins concealed, all to prevent us from fulfilling the purpose for which we were created. Vex's compound eyes narrowed dangerously. What purpose? To be the last line of defense against a threat the architects called the Void, a threat that destroyed them, and that will eventually reach this galaxy. Jack gestured to the holographic records. The architects created many species, but humans were their final hope, designed with unique cognitive abilities that allow us to intuitively operate their technology. Varm buzzed with fury. Preposterous. These records are clearly forgeries. They came from your own secured archives, Jack countered, and they explain why the Crexon have been so determined to prevent Earth's advancement. They don't fear a biological threat. They fear competition for control of architect technology. He changed the hologram to show the Crexon fleet positioned near Jupiter. And now they prepare to attack Earth, not to quarantine it, but to eliminate a potential rival before we can claim our inheritance. The chamber erupted in shouts and arguments. Vex slammed his limb down repeatedly, struggling to restore order. When the noise finally subsided, his voice was cold with fury. Galactic Council declares humans inferior. Regrets it immediately. The observation deck of the Council station offered a breathtaking view of the galaxy, stars spreading out in a glittering tapestry against the void. Jack stood alone at the viewport, his reflection ghostly in the transparent material. Behind him, the door slid open as Maya entered, her face tense with news. "The Krexan fleet has engaged our defensive line at Jupiter," she reported without preamble. "Decker reports they're holding position, but the Krexan are bringing in reinforcements." Jack nodded grimly. "And the Council?" "Still deliberating. 6 hours now." Maya moved to stand beside him at the viewport. "Some representatives have been leaving the chamber, heading to communication nodes to contact their homeworlds. Whatever happens, the galaxy is going to change today." Jack's eyes remained fixed on the distant stars. "Did you review the complete archives that Gal accessed?" "As much as possible. The architects created over 40 species, each with specific purposes in mind. The Krexan were designed as record keepers and preservers of knowledge. The Trell were diplomatic intermediaries. The Lithari were pattern recognizers and forecasters. And humans?" Maya hesitated. "The records describe us as synthesis vessels, beings capable of absorbing and integrating diverse knowledge and technology. Our brains were specifically designed to recognize patterns across disciplines, to make intuitive leaps that other species can't." "That explains a lot about human history," Jack said thoughtfully. "Our greatest advances have always come from unexpected connections between different fields of knowledge." Their conversation was interrupted as Lyria's tank glided into the observation deck, her luminescent body pulsing with urgent colors. "Ambassador, the Council has reached a decision. Your presence is required immediately." As they followed Lyria through the corridors, Jack noticed increased security, not just Krexan guards, but representatives from several military-focused species. The tension in the air was palpable. The Council chamber was eerily silent when they entered, a stark contrast to the chaos of their last session. Jack took his position on the central platform, facing Arbiter Vex and the senior council members. He noticed the Krexan section was nearly empty. Only junior representatives remained. "Ambassador Monroe," Vex began, his voice strangely subdued. "This council has existed for over 20,000 years. In that time we have faced many challenges, but none quite like this." Jack remained silent, waiting. "The evidence you have presented, combined with the appearance of a guardian and the concerning phenomena at the edge of our galaxy, has forced us to reconsider many long-held assumptions." The holographic displays activated, showing the ancient records Maya had discovered, alongside new data about the approaching void phenomenon. "Our scientists confirm that whatever is consuming those star systems does not conform to any known natural process. It appears to be, as the Guardian claimed, an intelligent force, one that destroyed the architects and now threatens our galaxy." Jack noticed several council members shifting uncomfortably. This was clearly not information they were pleased to have shared publicly. "As for the status of humanity," Vex continued, "we have verified the genetic markers in your species that match architect design patterns. You were indeed created for a specific purpose, though the wisdom of the architects in creating a species as unpredictable as humans remains questionable." Jack allowed himself a small smile at that. "Unpredictability was likely a feature, not a flaw, Arbiter." Vex's mandibles clicked in what might have been irritation. "Quite. Regardless, this council cannot ignore the evidence before us. The classification of humanity as a Class 3 inferior species is hereby revoked." A murmur ran through the chamber, not of protest, but of acceptance. Jack remained cautious, knowing there had to be more. "However," Vex continued, "this presents us with an unprecedented situation. The Guardian speaks of humanity claiming its inheritance, accessing architect technology of immense power. This council cannot simply grant unrestricted access to such potential weapons without assurances." Jack nodded. "What do you propose?" "The galactic trial of worth," came a voice from the side of the chamber. The ancient gaseous entity in its ornate vessel drifted forward. An ancient protocol not invoked for 7,000 years, designed to test a species' readiness to wield advanced knowledge. Vex inclined his head in deference to the elder being. "Council Member Zoth speaks of our oldest tradition, 3 challenges to prove wisdom, restraint, and innovation. If humanity succeeds, they would be granted a unique status within the conquered, access to the architect archives and technologies, under council oversight. Jack considered this carefully. And the Krexon attack on our system? A formal reprimand has been issued, Vex said stiffly. The Krexon delegation claims their fleet movement was a response to perceived human aggression, but they have been ordered to stand down immediately. Maya leaned close to Jack's ear. Decker reports the Krexon fleet is still engaged. They're not standing down. Jack made a quick decision. The people of Earth are willing to undertake your trial of worth, but we cannot do so while under attack. If the Council cannot control its own members, what authority does it truly have? The challenge hung in the air. Vex's compound eyes fixed on Jack with new intensity. What do you suggest, Ambassador? A demonstration of good faith. The Council must send representatives to assist in the defense of Earth. Show us that your commitment to galactic stability extends to protecting a species you so recently dismissed as inferior. Lyria moved her tank forward. The Trell will send ships immediately. We stand with Earth. As do the Lethari, came the crystalline voice of Thaz. Our predictive matrices suggest humanity's survival is essential to facing the coming darkness. One by one, other representatives voiced their support, until nearly half the Council had committed to Earth's defense. Jack noticed Vex watching this display with what seemed like genuine surprise. It appears the Concord has spoken, Vex said finally. Very well. This Council will dispatch a unified fleet to ensure the Krexon withdraw from Earth's system. The trial of worth will commence once stability is restored. Jack bowed respectfully. Humanity thanks the Council for its wisdom. As the session concluded and representatives began filing out, Jack received an urgent communication from Admiral Decker. The hologram showed the Admiral in the command center of Earth's flagship, his face grim but determined. The Krexon aren't backing down, Decker reported. They've brought in their heavy destroyers, ships capable of planetary bombardment. But Jack, something incredible is happening with our fleet. The display shifted to show Earth's ships engaged with the much larger Krexon vessels. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the human fleet was holding its own, their ships moving with impossible precision, energy shields deflecting attacks that should have annihilated them. The Guardian says it's the human pilots, Decker explained with barely contained excitement. They're interfacing with the ship's systems in ways that shouldn't be possible. The more they use the technology, the more intuitive it becomes for them. It's like the ships are adapting to our thought patterns. In the background, Jack could see the silver-skinned Guardian moving among human technicians, guiding them as they worked with alien systems. This is what the architects designed us for, Jack realized. Not just to use their technology, but to improve upon it, to find solutions they couldn't see. Maya touched his arm, drawing his attention to a new development in the council chamber. A group of the oldest council members had gathered around Vex, engaged in intense discussion. After several moments, Vex approached Jack. Ambassador, a new situation has developed. The coordinates in the architect archives, what you call the Nexus, our long-range sensors detect unusual activity at that location. Energy signatures unlike anything we've recorded. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. The void? Unknown. But the senior council believes it may be connected to the Guardian's appearance and the activation of dormant systems throughout the galaxy. Vex hesitated, then added reluctantly, "We require humanity's assistance to investigate." Jack couldn't help but smile at the irony. So the Class 3 inferior species is suddenly essential to the Conquered's future? Vex's mandibles clicked in what might have been embarrassment. The council acknowledges its error. In judgment, the trial of worth is suspended. Instead, we propose a joint mission to the Galactic Core, humans working alongside council specialists to access the Architect Nexus. Jack considered this proposal, aware of its historic significance. An Earth status within the Conquered? A new classification has been created, Vex said, his voice carrying a note of resignation. Humanity will be recognized as a guardian species, with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Back in the Earth system, the tide of battle had turned. The Council fleet arrived surrounding the Krexon forces, which had begun to withdraw. On the Australian outback, the Guardian ship had begun to repair itself. its systems responding to human technicians in ways that astonished even its creator. Admiral Decker stood in the command center of Earth's flagship, watching as the Krexan retreated. Beside him, a young lieutenant monitored communications,